The light suddenly dimmed as a spotlight illuminated a single figure. Erik. Hang on, he bought a spotlight just to fixate on himself. Jesus. Good evening to all of my guests. I would once again like to thank you for attending this event of mine. It wouldn't have been the same without every single one of you here. I'd also like to thank my staff for being so understanding and working so hard ensuring the games ran as smoothly as they did. Now, as some of you have already figured out, this is the last annual Voldemort spooktacular that I will be hosting. A murmur ran through the crowd. I looked up at Mr. Bandages to see his unhappy, silent expression. It's truly been an honour for me. If anyone else wishes to pick up the tradition, by all means do so. Invite me and I'll gladly join in the games. Just don't ask me to host them. Humorous laughter ran through the crowd. Yes, I'm shitting myself. I'm afraid I've gotten too old for this. Well, that's enough of that. Please, everyone, enjoy this final night. I will announce the winner of this year's games in a few hours. Happy Halloween, everyone. I left Mr. Bandages to grab a plate of food. As I walked through the ballroom, I constantly keep an eye out for the Count's black cape or spiky hair through the crowd. One or two times I could have sworn I saw him out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned he was gone. I noticed the thick crowd that surrounded Erik wherever he went. His eyes met mine for a moment and I smiled at him. A strange expression crossed his face, but a tug at his sleeve had him glancing away from me and to one of the young women at his side. Poor Erik, it must be hard being a host. Of course it is. So much money is being poured into this as well. I doubt an actor's salary could keep this up, but whatever. I returned back to the search for good food and the Count. It was over an hour later I started to feel disheartened by the fact I hadn't found any signs of him. Where is he? I leaned against the wall and let out a frustrated sigh. It was then that I noticed the familiar flutter of a black cape and the all too familiar outfit walking nearby. Count! I called out to him without thinking. He quickly swiveled around at my call and our eyes met. I watched his eyes widen in shock before he turned back around and walked away so fast that he might as well have been running. I froze. What was I expecting anyways? Yesterday was fun, but it didn't change anything. I felt something wet stream down my cheek and touched the tears that I couldn't stop. No, I can't break down here, not in front of everyone. I turned and headed for the nearest exit. The tears made my vision blurry and I knocked into a few guests on my way out, but at the time I couldn't care less. This isn't a bad ending, it can't be. Like, there's something out of your control happened, even though you chose seemingly good options throughout. A hand suddenly gripped on my shoulder and spun me around. What's going on? You nearly knocked me over back there. I looked down at the floor. Sorry, I just need some fresh air. Come on then, you're headed the wrong way. If you want some fresh air, the balcony is this way. He led me to a small secluded balcony just off the side of the ballroom. He let out an annoyed noise as he started removing the bandages off his head. What are you? Here, wipe your face. He shoved the bandages into my hand and I gratefully used them to wipe my tears. No bandages have been removed from his face, but thank you for the gesture anyway. So what happened anyway? Last time I saw you, you were happily stuffing your face. I was too upset to even be affected by his statement. I saw the Count. Wait, you actually saw him? Yeah, and then he ran away. Not that I blame him, but how? That idiot. He turned around to leave and then hesitated and turned back to me. Just stay here, okay? Don't move, not for anything, not for even food. You're supposed to be doing something nice. Don't make it a double-edged sword. Backhanded compliment. After saying that, he turned on his heels and left the balcony. I guess comfort eating is out of the question then. Minutes passed and I started to contemplate returning to my room. I stood up after making my mind up. What am I even waiting for anyway? I was just about to leave when the Count burst onto the balcony. He closed the doors behind him before turning to face me. He was out of breath and looked frazzled compared to his usual self. What? Before I could say another word, I was engulfed in his embrace. Sorry, I couldn't get away sooner. I pushed against his chest and put some space between us, frustrated at his words. What do you mean by that? You looked right at me before turning your back. It's not what you think. I'll explain it later, but first there's something more important that I need to say. I looked at the serious expression on his face and nodded silently. Is it, by any chance? I don't care who you are. It's never mattered to me, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, here goes. He took a deep breath before continuing. I haven't been able to stop thinking about the last time, and I know you said no, but I think... Wait, no, that's not right. What I want to say is... He gently took my hands in his. I don't want to give up on you. No matter who you are, what you do, none of it matters, as long as you love me back. You say that, but you don't know... I know enough. I know that you're a food connoisseur, loyal, determined, spunky... A horrible word to describe someone. Have a surprising love of books. Have a sweet tooth to rival my own. Not impressed by my money or job. Or my jokes. You treat me like a person. Not laughing at your jokes. Yet that is... If there's anyone who's watching this who fancies me quite a lot, a way to win my favour is to laugh at my jokes. Just going to point that out, okay? If you don't laugh at my jokes, I'll just hate you, and that'll be fine. You're the only woman to ever look past the mask I'm always hiding behind. He gave my hands a gentle squeeze. And did I forget to mention that you're the cutest girl I've ever met? Oh, you went and ruined it by lying. I'll gladly spend the rest of my life finding more about you. That is a big thing to say right now. I couldn't stop myself but bursting into tears at his speech. What? I ruined it, didn't I? Please don't cry. I didn't... I'll just pretend I never said any... I threw my arms around his neck and pulled him close. No, I don't want to pretend. I don't want to give up on you either. Not if it means feeling like I've lost out on something important. I do love you. Really? You mean it? Yes, I'm as surprised as you are, the Count. It's been 2 weeks. He cheerfully picked me up and swung me around happily before setting me down. This means I can kiss you, right? I wiped my tears and looked at him. I don't know, can you? If I don't hear a no, I'm going to take that as a yes. Whoa, there are campaigns going around to make sure that that is not okay. I've seen Tumblr, damn it. I just smiled, and he took it as his cue to cover my lips with his own. No, that's not how kissing works. There needs to be a smooching action. You can't just... Alright, if I lie on top of David, that does not mean we're having sex. Okay, same thing applies here. We pulled apart at the sound of the balcony door slamming open. The Count's eyes flickered over to the door where Eric's head butler could be seen, and he let out an annoyed sound. Your timing is horrid, Joshua. I apologise for the interruption, but it's time for your speech, Master Valdemar. Did he just call you Master Valdemar? He closed his eyes and took a deep breath before looking at me with a regretful expression. This isn't how I wanted you to find out. Master Valdemar, your guests are waiting. I just need to... Huh? Okay, right, let's sit down and think. What? He's Erik? He is... Huh? I thought they were brothers. I just need to... You've kept them waiting long enough, sir. You're right, Joshua. The Count, Erik, lifted a hand to caress my cheek. We'll talk about this later, alright? Alright. He gave me one last longing look before leaving the room. I took a moment to gather myself before leaving the balcony and heading back into the ballroom. As I left, I noticed Mr. Banges standing beside the door with a smirk on his face. You knew? I know a lot of things. You're going to have to be a bit more specific. About Erik? I take it he told you then. No, his butler did. Oh, well, tough break, Erik. Although in my defense I did try to stop Joshua, but no one can stop that guy when he's on a mission. Did you know from the start of the games? I'd like to say yes, but I didn't. He dropped enough clues for me to figure it out, though. So they just swapped costumes. Every time Erik appeared, where was the Count? He appeared on the roof, and I'm pretty sure the Count was around then, wasn't he? Or did he only come afterwards? Because that was in the gardens. So he was hosting and playing. What? Let's just get to the end of this. Before clarifying, let's just get to the end of it. Now, come on. If Joshua took him, then he's going to announce the winners soon, and I'm not missing that. He led me back to the centre of the ballroom just in time for the lights to dim and the spotlight to shine on Erik. Now that I was looking for them, I could see the similarities between Erik and the Count. So it was! So when he's doing the puzzles... What? Really? What about the puzzles that he set up? Okay, look, put it this way. You can't be a reviewer and then review your own game. You're going to do it rather biasly, much as you can't set up your own games and then play them. Are you A hushed silence descended through the room as everyone waited in anticipation for the winners to be announced. That also means that, like, a conversation I had when I cried on him, I was like, I fucked it up with the count! Makes no sense that he didn't do anything then. But, my head. Same eye shape? It's finally time for what you've all been waiting for. Same hair colour? I know you've all worked hard and soon you'll know if it paid off. Same height? But first, let's reveal the prizes. Same boyish smile. The first prize is a one-of-a-kind set of jewellery fashioned by upcoming jewellery maker of the year, Renault. Next is a Lambo Veno. For those who aren't car enthusiasts, it's a very limited car edition capable of amazing speeds. There's also an expenses paid for trip for 4 to the Maldives for 2 weeks. The tickets are transferable so they can be given away as gifts if the winners aren't interested. Yeah, I wouldn't be interested in that. I hate travelling. And lastly, there's a magnificent framed painting of Kippy painted by yours truly. The crowd groaned loudly at this. Okay, I kid. I didn't paint it. It was painted by an upcoming artist, though. They're all up and coming. He didn't want to spend too much money, did he? Now remember, all 4 of these prizes go to the winning team to divide however they wish. Okay, the winners are Mr. Tentacles, Miss Star, the Onion, and Little Bo Peep. But we won every single fucking thing, didn't we? In fact, we were first in almost everything. Like, whatever. Congratulations. Give it up for them, everybody. The crowd burst into applause, even as Mr. Banges and I shared a look. We lost to a tentacle monster, a vegetable, a mass of hot gas, and a little girl. Yep, it could have been worse, though. How? We could have lost to the superheroes group. Yeah, yes, the scrawny men in tights. Point taken. Well, there's nothing left for me here, so I'm just going to go back to my room. Make sure you and Erik don't stay up too late. He glanced at the crowd that once again had converged on Erik. Or maybe you should go to bed soon. I can't see him getting out of that anytime soon. The next morning found me sitting up in my bed waiting for the servant who was going to take me to the airport. Erik hadn't managed to get away from the crowd at all last night, and by midnight I was ready to call it a night. I still can't believe the count was Erik. I wonder if I should go see him before I leave. Then again, he's bound to be busy with all the guests getting ready to leave. It's getting kind of late. Why hasn't the guy who's taking me to the airport arrived yet? At this rate, I'll miss my flight, so hang on. Oh, I love you. I love you too. They kissed, they embraced, and then they were split apart, and she's just like, oh, fuck it, I'll fly home. Sure. I was about to head into the hallway to find someone to take me when I heard Rapid knocking at my door. It's about time. Oh, so he has shown up. Good. I opened the door, but instead of a servant, Erik himself was standing there. Oh, good, you're still here. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, but seeing off the other guests took longer than anticipated. Where would I have gone? I was waiting for the guy to take me to the airport, and he never showed. Ah, yes, that's my fault. I did want to leave before we could talk. Now I'm going to miss my flight. He probably has a private jet. It doesn't matter. No, we can make it. Joshua is nothing but skilled at getting from one place to another very quickly. As he said that, his head butler Joshua slipped in the room to get my bags. Master Erik, perhaps you should continue with this in the car. Right, we should get moving. He hesitantly placed his hand on my lower back to lead me out of the room and to the waiting car. Is he going to come along with me? Is that the twist? We sat silent. Oh, sure. Okay, that is where you sit in a car. Right in front of a seat with your legs chopped off. We sat silently as Joshua pulled out and started driving away from the mansion. I looked at Erik and waited for him to say something, anything, but when he didn't, I asked the question that had been on my mind all night. Why didn't you tell me you were Erik? Because he couldn't! The same reason you didn't tell me about your background. I was worried it would make you see me differently. Would you ever have told me? Of course I would have. I just wanted to know that you cared for the real me and not the Erik that everyone else sees. You do realise that I thought Erik was pretty creepy at some stages, right? Yes, I'm aware of that. You didn't exactly hide it. You also got me hot, if I remember correctly. I know you're hot. You have thousands of You know you're hot. You have thousands of fans to tell you that. Oh, Jesus Christ. True, but there's something about hearing from someone I care about that makes it so much better. So, you really do care? It wasn't just some prank? Why would you think that? I'm not that cruel. I would never lie about something like this. I care about you, and I want to be with you, if you'll still have me. And just for the record, I don't date my guests during the games, or, well, I didn't until you came along. No, you just flirt shamelessly. I'm nothing but a gentleman. I had a snort from the gentleman driver's seat. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side. I'm always at your side, but you can hardly expect me to stay quiet after such a blatant lie. I watched as Erik let out an exaggerated sigh. See, even my butler is against me. If I was you, if I was against you, you'd know it. I'm merely ensuring that you don't screw this up. I don't think the staff can handle much more of you moping around. Moping? I do not mope. Of course, Mr. Valdemar. You were just wandering the halls listlessly while staff tripped over themselves trying to cheer you up. Is that what they were doing? Of course, why else do you think you were able to put together a festival overnight without any complaint? When you were suddenly happy again, they did everything in their power to keep you that way. Having yakutas and masks custom-made for each guest overnight isn't something to sneeze at, and that's not even getting into the logistical nightmare of having all the booths stocked up and set up in the span of a few hours. Can I date this butler guy? He seems much more down to earth. Hang on a second, Erik at one point, he kind of likes us and loved us for that much, because at one point he was like, hey, you should work for me. Don't get me wrong, it's a cute twist that the Count is Erik all along, but it makes no sense and it's silly. That festival was impromptu? Yes, our master was in need of a reason to hide his entire face for the day. You'd think a famous actor would be able to keep his expression in check. I don't get it. I look at Erik for an explanation, but he just let out a low cough and looked away. We're getting close to the airport, so if you have any urgent questions, you should probably get them off your chest now. Did having you in our team give us an unfair advantage? No, for the most part, I had very little to do with the actual execution of the games. I gave out the general ideas, but the staff were the ones who put them together, with Joshua overseeing everything. If anything, it might have put us at a disadvantage for certain games. Really? You had a general idea of what the games were? And you were in our team, it's like, oh, well, actually, it was a disadvantage. No, it's not! You're the one that wanted authentic festival games. Okay, then, did you intentionally put us all in the same team? I noticed that you and Mr. Bandages seemed pretty close despite the bantering. I did, well, with the exception of Mr. Wolf, but that worked out for the best. Any other team, and it looks like he would have spent the entire event trying to avoid being groped. Mr. Bandages and I go way back. I wanted to spend my last game on his team, at least. That, and you wanted to see him flip out over the skill sheet. That too. So that was the reason I was on your team. Should I say that I wanted to spend some time with the cute enigma that won my contest? You were the one chosen out of more than 1 million entrants. I wanted to see what you were like in person. Why even host that contest? I could have been a master thief or a murderer or something. And that's why Joshua did a full background check on the winner. Wait, what? How much do you know? Me? Nothing besides what I discovered in the games. I trust Joshua's judgment and he gave you the go-ahead. I didn't even know you were so cute until I got the skill sheet when the game started. Right, there's just one more thing that's bugging me. Your body double. Was it ever him that I spoke to when I thought it was you? With the exception of yesterday, the two of you are never within speaking distance. All he'd need to do is utter a single word and the secret was out. What? Why? Our vocal register... What? Whatever. Our vocal registers aren't on the same frequency. Anytime he had to make an announcement or appearance, I'd have to pre-record the message. That's not something I could successfully do with conversations, so he never spoke to guests. So it was always you. It was always me. I let out a sigh of relief. So he didn't notice when speaking to the Count and then to Erik. He was like, fuck me, these two people sound a bit similar. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried for a moment that I might have fallen for the body double and that being here with you was a mistake. Hey, I'm not going to let that fake take my place. Good. Don't think you'll ever be able to get out of doing something with me by sending him. I'd never dream of it. Sure, there's no way I'd send another guy to get cozy with my girl. My girl! Oh, Jesus. Master Valdemar, Miss Davidson, we've arrived. Joshua pulled a car to a stop. Already? But there's so much more. She has a flight to catch and you'll see her soon enough. Erik and Joshua shared a silent look before Joshua let out an exasperated sigh. We still have to check in her bags, Master Valdemar. You could talk on the way. Joshua pulled my bags along behind him, ignoring all the glares Erik sent his way. Erik sighed and turned to me as we quickly followed. As someone who spends a lot of time in an airport, I'm almost certain that during arrivals you never go through the baggage area. Whatever. So, do you still want to be with me? I suddenly stopped at his question. I watched his eyebrows furrowed with worry. You really are having second thoughts, aren't you? I mean, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner, but I knew it'd change everything, and I grabbed both sides of his face and pulled him down. I watched his eyes widen as our lips met before pulling back. Does that answer... Apparently, light has engulfed us. Jesus, that's something we should be looking out for. He pulled me back to him before I could even finish speaking, and leaned in with a more insistent kiss. Perhaps you should save this for a more private setting. I quickly pulled away from Erik and felt myself flush with embarrassment. I'd completely lost track of where we were. Photos of that are probably going to sell for thousands. True, do you think you can get me a copy? That shouldn't be a problem. Hey, that is a problem, a really big problem. You don't want people to know about us? Are you ashamed of me? I don't want to be hounded by paparazzi and strangers every waking moment. Do you have any idea what your fanbase will do to me if they found out? Oh, Jesus Christ, yes. I've clicked on One Direction hashtags on Twitter. There is dangerous stuff going on. Your fanbase is quite formidable, sir. Fine, we'll keep it a secret, but I'm still getting that photo. But people have already... Don't worry about that, Miss Davison. We have our ways. Right now, though, you should get going. Your plane will leave us soon. I suddenly noticed some men who seemingly appeared out of nowhere to start to usher the gathering a crowd away from us. Come on, then. They won't be able to hold them back for long. He grabbed my hand and led me to the departure gate. This isn't goodbye. We're going to make this work. You hear me? He softly put his hand on my face. I'll visit you soon. Be prepared. He gave me another kiss before I had to board the plane. We're not even swapping numbers. I don't know his number. Just thought I'd point that out. He stood there smiling at me until I could no longer see him. Finally, that plane ride took forever. That is an Uncle Mugen background if I've ever seen an Uncle Mugen background. I followed everyone out to the luggage area. Yeah, this is the same place as before. Whatever. I scanned the area for Mira as I collected my bags. By the time I spotted her, she was already striding up to me. Hey, Mira. You kissed Erik? How did... It's all over the internet. Oh, crap. Everyone's going to... Calm down. There weren't any obvious pictures and no one had any idea who you were except me. Seriously, though, why didn't you tell me? Can we talk about this at home? My eyes darted around nervously at the attention we were starting to gather. Fine, but as soon as we get out of here, you're going to spill. I want every little detail. This game is still going on? It should have ended there. That was a perfect ending. Oh my god. As soon as we got home, Mira locked the door and pounced on me. Now what happened? Don't hold anything back, quickly. Last I heard, you were regretting ditching some actor guy. You never said he was Erik. In fact, you implied that wasn't him. That's because I didn't know it was Erik. How did you not know? He was in costume and we never exchanged names, and he couldn't have looked that different in costume. I'm glad Mira understands how dumb we were. I don't watch much TV as you. Most of the guests couldn't tell either. Heck, even Mr. Banch just didn't realise until it was almost over, and they apparently go way back. Yes, that really shit disguise did it. Mira stopped hyperventilating enough for me to explain what happened. When I finished, she squealed with delight. It's like a movie. You're so lucky. I knew you'd nab some hot guy while you were there. But damn, you had the big one. Someone knocked at the door. I took the opportunity to break from Mira's excited questions about Erik, only for it to be Erik. Did anyone see that coming? That is a question asked with sincerity. Only to come face to face to him when I opened the door. Chibi art. So, again, with dwarves again. I told her I'd see you soon. We'll leave the credits going as is, nice. So, this game. Yeah, backgrounds. Uncle Mugen, I told you. But yeah, so basically, this game, it was good. Okay, so if you want to hear that song, you can just Google it, alright? The subtitles are there. So, this game was good. did have some very bizarre moments, like our personality swings. We had probably 2. 3 if we're being harsh, but definitely 2 personalities, which sort of infused. We were really, really outgoing at parts, and then we were really, really shy at parts. And sometimes we're like, yeah, we'll fucking do that. We're gonna do the test and the activity. And then sometimes we're just like, nah, fuck it. We'll take the 1 out of 100 chance of getting this right and hope we do it. Oh, bizarre. Definitely say it's worth back and going to do, though. Just... it had its problems. And I probably wouldn't put it in my top 10 visual novels ever made. English visual novels ever made. I think that would be hyping it up too much. But it's definitely good. I'll probably remember the characters' names in a month. That's normally the test as to whether something's good and whether they actually struck a chord or not. But for now, my name has been ChrisTenarium. Thank you very much for watching Halloween Otome, or Otome. I still can't read it. I still don't know how to pronounce that. I said thanks for reading you. Well, thank you, game. My name is ChrisTenarium. Thank you very much for watching. If you've gotten this far and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing now. It's completely free. All it takes is a click. It's wonderful. And goodbye.